You forget where you put your keys, struggle to recall a name, or walk into a room and suddenly can't remember why you're there. You brush it off, telling yourself it's just part of aging, something that happens to everyone. But what if it's not? What if these little lapses in memory, these moments of fogginess, are actually warning signs that your brain is aging faster than it should? The truth is, many people unknowingly speed up the aging process of their brain without even realizing it. They go through their daily routines, never questioning certain habits that may be slowly weakening memory, reducing focus, and increasing the risk of cognitive decline. And the scariest part? It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, silent process that creeps in over time until one day, you suddenly realize your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. But here's the good news, it doesn't have to be this way. Your brain has the ability to adapt, to grow, and even to reverse some of the damage, if you take the right steps. In this video, we're revealing 8 daily habits that may be secretly destroying your brain after 60, and more importantly, what you can do to protect and even strengthen your mind. If you care about keeping your mind sharp, hit like and subscribe, because protecting your brain starts today. You wake up already feeling tense. Your mind starts racing before your feet even touch the floor. Worries about your health, your family, your future. The weight of responsibility, uncertainty, and daily stressors follows you throughout the day, and no matter how much you try to distract yourself, it never fully goes away. Maybe you think it's just how life is. Maybe you've been dealing with stress for so long that you don't even notice it anymore. But your brain does. And it's paying the price. Chronic stress isn't just a feeling, it's a biological process that can physically change the structure of your brain. When you're under stress, your body releases cortisol, a hormone designed to help you react to danger. In short bursts, cortisol is useful. It sharpens focus and prepares you to handle challenges. But when stress becomes a constant state, cortisol turns from an ally into a silent killer of brain cells. Studies have shown that prolonged exposure to high cortisol levels shrinks the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. This means that the more stressed you are, the harder it becomes to remember information, focus on tasks, or even process emotions properly. Chronic stress also weakens connections between neurons, making it more difficult for your brain to form and retain new memories. It's not just a feeling of being mentally drained, it's real damage happening inside your brain. And stress doesn't just affect memory. It rewires your brain to become more reactive, more anxious, and more prone to negativity. The amygdala, the part of your brain that controls fear and emotional responses, becomes overactive. You start seeing threats where there aren't any, feeling overwhelmed by small problems, and losing the ability to truly relax. Over time, this constant state of mental tension can increase the risk of cognitive decline, depression, and even dementia. But the worst part? Worrying becomes a habit. The more you do it, the more your brain gets stuck in cycles of overthinking. You start expecting stress, anticipating problems, and reinforcing the very patterns that are damaging your brain. It's a cycle that won't stop unless you break it. So how do you stop stress from taking over your mind? First, recognize the triggers. Pay attention to the moments when stress creeps in. Is it during the morning news? Before bed? When you're alone with your thoughts? The first step to breaking the cycle is becoming aware of it. Second, take control of your breathing. Deep, controlled breaths signal to your nervous system that you're safe. A simple technique? Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and repeat. It sounds simple, but studies show that controlled breathing reduces cortisol levels almost immediately. Third, reframe your thoughts. Most stress isn't caused by external events, it's caused by how we interpret them. The way you talk to yourself matters. Instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," try, "I'll get through this, one step at a time." Your brain listens to the words you feed it. Fourth, get moving. Exercise isn't just for your body. It's one of the most powerful ways to reduce cortisol and protect your brain. Even a short daily walk can significantly lower stress levels and improve mental clarity. And finally, prioritize real relaxation. Scrolling through your phone or watching TV might distract you, but it doesn't truly calm your brain. Instead, try meditation, music, journaling, or simply sitting in silence with a cup of tea. Give your brain the space it needs to reset. Stress doesn't have to control your life. The more you take steps to manage it, the more you'll protect your brain from its damaging effects. If this is something you struggle with, hit the like button. Let's take control together. You sit down to read, watch TV, or scroll through your phone, and before you know it, hours have passed. Maybe you used to be more active, but now, getting up and moving feels like a chore. The problem is, your brain needs movement just as much as your body does. And when you stop moving, your brain starts slowing down too. Most people think of exercise as something that only affects muscles, joints, or weight. But research shows that lack of movement directly impacts brain health. When you live a mostly sedentary lifestyle, blood flow to the brain decreases, making neurons work more slowly and less efficiently. This means weaker memory, slower thinking, and greater difficulty focusing. But the real danger? Sitting too much actually increases the risk of dementia. Studies have found that people who spend long periods sitting without regular physical activity experience faster cognitive decline than those who stay active. Why? Because movement increases oxygen and nutrient delivery to the brain, stimulating growth factors that help build and maintain neural connections. When you stop moving, these benefits disappear. And it's not just about circulation. Exercise actually changes brain chemistry. Physical activity triggers the release of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, which improve mood, motivation, and mental clarity. If you've been feeling sluggish, unmotivated, or mentally drained, it may not be aging, it may be inactivity. But here's the good news: you don't need to become a gym addict to protect your brain. Small, consistent changes can make a massive difference. Start simple. If you've been inactive for a while, don't overwhelm yourself with unrealistic goals. Begin with a short daily walk, stretch in the morning, or stand up and move around during commercial breaks. Anything is better than nothing. Break up long periods of sitting. If you spend most of the day sitting, try standing up and moving every 30 minutes. Even light movement, like stretching or walking in place, can help improve circulation and keep your brain engaged. Incorporate movement into your routine. Gardening, dancing, cleaning, or even playing with pets all count as activity. The key is to find something you enjoy so that movement becomes part of your lifestyle, not just something you force yourself to do. Challenge your balance and coordination. Activities like yoga, tai chi, or even simple balancing exercises stimulate different areas of the brain, improving focus, memory, and cognitive resilience. The reality is, your brain was never designed to sit still all day. If you've been feeling mentally slow, unfocused, or emotionally drained, movement might be the missing piece. Your brain needs it. Your body needs it. And once you start, you'll wonder why you ever stopped. If you're still here, drop a comment. What's your favorite way to stay active? You start your day with something sweet, maybe a pastry, a bowl of cereal, or a sugary coffee. It gives you a quick burst of energy, making you feel awake and ready to go. But by mid-morning you crash. You feel sluggish, your focus fades, and suddenly, you're reaching for another quick fix, a snack, a soda, anything to keep you going. It feels like normal energy fluctuations, but what if I told you that this cycle isn't just affecting your body, it's actively damaging your brain? Sugar is one of the biggest hidden threats to brain health. While most people think of diet in terms of weight or heart health, research shows that what you eat has a direct impact on cognitive function, memory, and mental clarity. And the worst culprit? Refined sugars and processed foods. When you consume too much sugar, it triggers inflammation in the brain. This inflammation disrupts communication between brain cells, making it harder to focus, recall information, and stay mentally sharp. Over time, chronic inflammation increases the risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. And it doesn't stop there. High sugar intake also leads to insulin resistance in the brain, a condition known as type 3 diabetes. This means that your brain cells struggle to absorb glucose properly, leaving them starved of energy. The result? Brain fog, memory issues, mood swings, and an increased risk of cognitive decline. But here's the tricky part: sugar is addictive. The more you consume, the more your brain craves it. That's because sugar spikes dopamine levels, creating a temporary feeling of pleasure and energy. But just like with any addiction, the more you indulge, the more your brain requires to feel the same effect. And that's how people get stuck in a cycle of low energy, poor focus, and constant cravings. So what's the solution? How do you protect your brain without feeling like you're depriving yourself? First, cut back on hidden sugars. Many so-called healthy foods, like flavored yogurts, granola bars, fruit juices, and even whole wheat bread, are loaded with added sugars. Start reading labels, and look for foods with little to no added sugar. Second, prioritize brain-fueling foods. Healthy fats, such as those found in avocados, nuts, olive oil, and fatty fish, support brain function and reduce inflammation. Leafy greens, berries, and turmeric contain powerful antioxidants that help protect brain cells. And don't forget protein-rich foods like eggs, beans, and lean meats, which provide the amino acids your brain needs to function at its best. Third, stabilize your blood sugar levels. Instead of eating meals that spike and crash your energy, opt for balanced meals that combine protein, fiber, and healthy fats. This keeps your brain fueled without the roller coaster of sugar highs and lows. And finally, hydrate. Even mild dehydration reduces cognitive function, making it harder to think clearly and stay focused. Aim for plenty of water throughout the day to keep your brain working at its peak. The good news is, your brain is resilient. If you've been relying on sugar-heavy, processed foods, it's not too late to change. By making simple shifts in your diet, you can improve focus, memory, and mental energy, while protecting yourself from long-term cognitive decline. If you're ready to fuel your mind the right way, hit like and subscribe. You go to bed, hoping for a full night's rest, but wake up feeling just as exhausted as the night before. Maybe you toss and turn, unable to quiet your mind. Maybe you fall asleep quickly, only to wake up in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body refuses to rest. Or maybe you think you're getting enough sleep, but every morning feels like a battle to find the energy to start the day. The truth is, poor sleep isn't just making you tired, it's actively accelerating cognitive decline. Sleep is not just about resting, it's the foundation for your brain's ability to function, heal, and protect itself. During deep sleep, your brain clears out toxins, repairs neural connections, and processes memories. Without quality sleep, this entire system breaks down. Over time, this leads to memory loss, slower thinking, increased stress, and a higher risk of dementia. One of the biggest dangers of poor sleep: the accumulation of beta-amyloid plaques in the brain. These toxic proteins, which are linked to Alzheimer's disease, are naturally cleared away during deep sleep. But when sleep is disrupted, these plaques start to build up, slowly damaging the brain's ability to function. And it's not just long-term consequences. Even a single night of poor sleep can affect your cognitive performance. Studies show that lack of sleep impairs decision-making, reduces focus, and lowers emotional regulation. This is why everything feels harder after a restless night. Your brain simply isn't working at full capacity. So why do so many people struggle with sleep? It's not just about the number of hours, it's about quality. You could be in bed for 8 hours, but if your sleep is interrupted, shallow, or out of sync with your body's natural rhythm, your brain won't fully recover. And in today's world, hidden habits are silently destroying sleep quality without people even realizing it. One of the biggest culprits? Screens before bed. The blue light from phones, TVs, and computers suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals your brain it's time to sleep. Even if you feel tired, your brain is still wired, making it harder to fall into deep, restorative sleep. This is why scrolling on your phone at night, even for just a few minutes, can leave you feeling exhausted the next day. Another major issue? Irregular sleep schedules. Many people stay up late, wake up at different times every day, or try to catch up on sleep over the weekend, throwing off their body's internal clock. But the brain thrives on routine. When your sleep schedule is unpredictable, your body never fully knows when to rest, leading to lighter, less effective sleep. And then there's stress and overthinking. If your mind races at night, replaying the day's worries or making mental to-do lists, your body might be in bed, but your brain is wide awake. Sleep requires a sense of calm and relaxation, yet many people go to bed carrying the weight of the entire day with them, making it nearly impossible to fully shut down. So how do you fix it? First, set a consistent sleep schedule. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Your body loves rhythm, and the more predictable your sleep is, the better your brain will function. Second, cut out screens at least an hour before bed. Instead, wind down with a book, soft music, or a simple relaxation exercise. Give your brain the signal that it's time to slow down. Third, create a nighttime routine that actually prepares your body for rest. Dim the lights, do some gentle stretching, or practice deep breathing exercises. The more you associate these actions with sleep, the easier it becomes to transition into deep rest. And most importantly, deal with stress before you go to bed. If your mind is overwhelmed, try journaling, meditating, or even just taking a few minutes to consciously let go of the day's worries. Your bed should be a place of rest, not a battlefield for your thoughts. The difference between thriving and just getting through the day often comes down to something as simple as sleep. When you prioritize rest, everything else in life starts to feel easier. Your mind is clearer, your energy is stronger, and your motivation returns. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. What's your biggest sleep challenge? You don't notice it at first. Maybe a friend moves away, family members get busier, or social gatherings happen less often. At first, the quiet feels comforting, even peaceful. But over time, the silence grows heavier. Conversations become fewer, days feel longer, and before you realize it, your world has gotten smaller. What many people don't know is that this isn't just an emotional shift, it's a neurological one. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a biological threat to your brain. Studies show that a lack of social interaction can shrink the brain, weaken memory, and accelerate cognitive decline. When you go long periods without meaningful connection, the neural networks responsible for communication, emotional regulation, and problem-solving begin to deteriorate. One of the most dangerous effects of isolation? An overactive stress response. When you're alone too often, your brain perceives it as a threat. Something is missing from your environment. This increases cortisol levels, the stress hormone that damages brain cells and weakens the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. Over time, prolonged loneliness has been linked to a higher risk of dementia, depression, and even a shorter lifespan. And it's not just about memory. Loneliness rewires your brain to expect isolation. The longer you spend disconnected from people, the harder it becomes to reach out. Social anxiety increases, motivation to engage decreases, and eventually, it feels easier to stay alone, even when deep down, you crave connection. But here's the good news: it's never too late to rebuild your social world. Even small efforts can make a massive difference in reversing the effects of isolation and protecting your brain from decline. So how do you start? First, make the first move. Many people assume that if someone hasn't reached out, they must not be interested in reconnecting. But often, they feel the same way as you, waiting for someone else to make the effort. Send a message, make a call, set up a time to meet. Even one conversation can break the cycle. Second, create new social habits. If your current social circle feels distant, look for new ways to connect. Join a local group, attend a community event, or take a class on something that interests you. Your brain thrives on novelty, and meeting new people is one of the most powerful ways to stimulate neural growth. Third, engage in regular face-to-face interaction. While phone calls and online communication can help, nothing replaces in-person contact. Studies show that eye contact, facial expressions, and even simple gestures trigger positive brain responses that reduce stress and increase emotional well-being. Fourth, don't underestimate the power of small interactions. A conversation with a neighbor, a friendly chat with someone at the store, or even a smile exchanged with a stranger all help keep the brain's social circuits active. Loneliness is not something you just get used to. It's a signal that something is missing. And the longer it continues, the harder it becomes to break free. But no matter how much time has passed, you have the power to reconnect, to rebuild, and to protect your brain in the process. If you've ever felt the effects of isolation, hit the like button. Let's break this cycle together. You wake up at the same time, drink the same coffee, take the same route, and go through the same motions you've been repeating for months, maybe even years. There's comfort in routine, a sense of predictability that makes life feel stable. But what if that stability is also slowly weakening your mind? The human brain is designed to seek out new experiences. Novelty stimulates neural activity, strengthens memory, and keeps cognitive function sharp. When life becomes too predictable, your brain stops growing, stops adapting, and starts to decline. This is the routine trap. It doesn't happen overnight. It sneaks up on you in small ways: the gradual reduction of new experiences, the reliance on familiar patterns, the assumption that this is just how life is now. Over time, your brain adapts to this lack of stimulation, working only as hard as it has to. The result? Mental stagnation, reduced problem-solving abilities, and a higher risk of cognitive decline. How do you know if you're stuck in the routine trap? Ask yourself, when was the last time you tried something completely new? When was the last time you challenged yourself with an unfamiliar experience, learned a new skill, or stepped outside your comfort zone? If it's been a while, your brain is craving novelty, even if you don't realize it yet. The good news? You can break free, and it doesn't require drastic changes. Even small adjustments can wake up your brain and strengthen its ability to learn, adapt, and grow. First, break patterns in small ways. Take a different route home. Try a food you've never eaten before. Listen to music from a genre you wouldn't normally explore. Even these minor shifts challenge your brain to create new connections. Second, introduce new learning experiences. Read about a topic you know nothing about. Watch a documentary that challenges your perspective. Try your hand at a creative hobby, even if you don't think you'll be good at it. Your brain doesn't care about perfection, it cares about stimulation. Third, embrace uncertainty. The routine trap often exists because predictability feels safe. But growth happens outside of comfort. Sign up for a class, engage in conversations with people who think differently than you, or take on a small challenge that forces you to think in new ways. Fourth, say yes more often. Routine often leads to automatic no's, turning down invitations, avoiding new opportunities, sticking to what feels familiar. But the moment you start saying yes to new experiences, you'll be amazed at how much life still has to offer. Life is meant to be lived, not just repeated. The more you challenge your mind with new experiences, the sharper, stronger, and more resilient it becomes. If this made you think, hit like. Let's challenge our minds together. You wake up, go through your routine, drink your coffee, check your phone, and start your day. But something feels off. The excitement you used to have, the anticipation for the little things, the motivation to try new experiences, it's not there like it used to be. Life feels dull, repetitive, even empty. And maybe you've told yourself that's just part of aging. But what if it's not? What if the reason you feel this way isn't time, but your brain's dopamine levels? Dopamine is the key to motivation, excitement, and joy. It's the neurotransmitter responsible for that rush of pleasure when you accomplish something, when you experience something new, or when you feel deeply engaged in life. It's what makes you look forward to things. But the problem is, modern habits are silently draining your dopamine, leaving you feeling unmotivated, emotionally flat, and stuck in a cycle of low energy. The worst part? Most people don't even realize they're doing it. One of the biggest dopamine killers? Passive consumption. When you scroll endlessly on social media, binge watch TV, or rely on easy entertainment for stimulation, your brain gets small dopamine hits, but they're shallow and fleeting. This tricks your brain into expecting instant rewards without effort. Over time, the things that used to bring real joy, hobbies, social interactions, meaningful experiences, feel less exciting. Why? Because they require more effort than just scrolling. Another major factor? Routine and lack of novelty. Dopamine thrives on new experiences, challenges, and variety. If every day looks the same, your brain stops producing dopamine at the levels it once did. You stop looking forward to things because nothing feels new. And then there's poor diet and lack of movement. Processed foods, high sugar intake, and a sedentary lifestyle disrupt dopamine production, leaving you feeling sluggish, not just physically, but mentally. Exercise and proper nutrition fuel dopamine production, but if you've fallen into unhealthy habits, your brain's ability to naturally create joy and excitement declines. So how do you fix it? How do you reset your dopamine levels and bring back that natural excitement for life? First, reduce passive stimulation. Cut back on endless scrolling, mindless TV watching, and quick dopamine hits. Your brain needs real-world engagement to rebuild dopamine pathways. Second, introduce novelty into your daily life. It doesn't have to be something extreme. Try a new recipe, visit a new cafe, read a book on a topic you've never explored. The more variety you introduce, the more your brain will start craving real experiences again. Third, focus on effort-based rewards. Dopamine is strongest when it comes from effort. Create something, solve a puzzle, build something with your hands. Even simple tasks, like cooking a meal from scratch or learning a new skill, can rewire your brain to find satisfaction in real effort. Fourth, move your body. Exercise, especially activities that challenge you, boosts dopamine naturally. Dancing, hiking, yoga, or even a simple walk in nature can be enough to reset your brain's chemistry. And most importantly, set things to look forward to. Plan events, goals, and experiences that genuinely excite you. Your brain thrives on anticipation, and having something to look forward to can reignite your natural dopamine cycle. Life isn't meant to feel dull. Your brain still has the capacity for excitement, motivation, and joy. You just have to wake it up again. If you're still here, drop a comment. What's something new you want to try? At the end of the day, your brain is in your hands. Every habit, every choice, every routine, they are either strengthening your mind or slowly breaking it down. The good news? You have control. You are not powerless against time, and cognitive decline is not inevitable. The question is, will you take responsibility for your mind? It's easy to fall into the belief that the way you feel now is just how things are. That forgetting things more often, feeling unmotivated, or struggling to focus is simply a natural part of aging. But that's not the full truth. Science has shown that the brain is adaptable, capable of change, growth, and even repair, if you give it the right conditions. Every small choice you make today shapes the way your brain functions tomorrow. The food you eat, the way you move, the thoughts you entertain, the experiences you seek, these are not just habits. They are building blocks for your future mind. It doesn't take extreme changes to see a difference. Even the smallest shifts, a little more movement, a little less stress, a little more curiosity, can wake up your brain and set it on a better path. So where do you start? Wherever you are. No matter how long you've been in a routine, no matter how much time has passed, it is never too late to take control of your mental health. Because the strength of your mind isn't just about the years behind you, it's about the choices ahead.